for here, I just wanted to pull everything out of the oven to show the final product. These are our kind of, I guess, apple pie oat bites. As you can see, they keep their shape really well. They have a nice, crisp oat kind of crumble on top. And the apples inside got very soft, so everything is good to go. Now, for these, I was thinking about it while they were in the oven, and something you could do to really add to it, if you wanted, was just to get, playful with it. You can easily add chocolate chips, you could add raisins, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. I mean, there's pretty much endless possibilities you can do with this. Even if you wanted to zest an orange in there and leave out the apples and do cranberries instead, there's just a lot of different flavors you can play with for these. For the vegetables, everything came out exactly how I wanted it. There's a really good kind of like char on each vegetable. The tofu got nice and crisp on the top. And the chicken is done, but not overdone. So for this particular meal prep and bowl, the flavor profile I wanted to go to for tonight was just to have it with a kind of refreshing lemony garlic herb dressing. And what I was saying earlier about the dressing is where you can really put the flavor into these meal preps, is that there's so many kind of options that you have for flavor profiles. For this one, I just put 1/3 cup each of the avocado oil I used earlier and 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. So to give this the lemon herb flavor, what I'm going to do is kind of crush 2 smaller pieces of garlic. I like to give it a nice crush with the knife and give it, a finer chop. You don't really want kind of too big of pieces of garlic in the dressing because, just in my opinion, it, tends to burn my mouth a little bit if I bite into, a large chunk of garlic. So what I'll do here is take the garlic and drop it into a bowl that I measured out, not so much with measuring spoons, but more eyeballing. I have probably about a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of salt, and a good pinch of sugar, probably a little under a teaspoon. And the reason I like to put that into the bowl is so that I can put the garlic in there and chop a little bit of fresh parsley. I like to use flat leaf, but you can use, curly parsley. If you wanted to do more of a Latin flavor, you could easily do cilantro. You can do basil. Like I said, it's really whatever the flavor profile you're going for. I like to kind of get the parsley and the garlic down into this bowl with my seasoning. Now, the reason I put it in the bowl is because I like to do something that's, I guess, optional with the lemons. Not a lot of people have this tool, which I call the microplane, but it is, in my kitchen, widely used. I like to kind of zest the lemon. And I know some people can do this with a knife. I am not that skilled, so I do appreciate the microplane quite a bit. You just want to get the yellow part and try not to go into the white part because it tends to be very bitter. And I would say zest, pretty good part of the lemon. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. I like a good lemon kick to it, so I definitely do try to get most of it. You just want to give it a tap, a little bit of a scrape. And for me, I do like to put a strainer over it, only because nobody really wants to start fishing out seeds. So we do, for the 1/3 cup and the 1/3 cup of oil, we'll do 2 lemons. If you like less of a lemon flavor, you can definitely do 1 lemon. Now this is another tool I like to use. I have no idea what it's called. I just call it my lemon squisher because it gets a good amount of the juice and the pulp out. And I like to try to use as much as I can and not waste. So we'll get the juice down into the bowl. And the reason I like to put the salt and the sugar, the pepper and the parsley in there is because once you kind of juice the lemon into it, it breaks down the sugar, it kind of softens the garlic a little bit, and helps melt all the seasonings into the dressing. A good alternative for this would be if you wanted a Latin flavor, you can use limes instead of lemons and cilantro instead of the parsley. You can even add like minced jalapeno and, you know, the typical Latin flavors. So I'll just give this a slight little mix. And this doesn't have to be mixed too well. But from here, I like to use a jar that kind of has a lid. You can easily do this in even a Ziploc or just a regular kind of, you know, bowl or cup with a whisk or a spoon. But for me, I kind of like to do the shake it up method. So I'll pop the lid onto this and I'll kind of just give it a good shake. And that's it for the dressing. It's completely done. As far as the prep goes for this, I will remove the cutting board. And this is how I kind of like to do my rice balls. I leave a little bit of a larger bowl so you have room for mixing. I'll put about, I would say maybe a half a cup of rice, a little under a half a cup of rice. And I just kind of like to layer the vegetables into the bowl just so everyone sees what they're getting, or you know what's in there. And it's a good amount of vegetable, as much or as little as you want. Now for my bowl, I'm doing tofu and chicken. I figure I eat both, so the extra protein never hurts. And the thing about this is you can really add as much or as little as you want into the bowl. And as you can see from the trays, you have a lot of kind of, extra for meal prep for the whole week. Now for me, I'm only going to do a little bit of chicken because I did put a good amount of tofu. I'll just kind of put it over the top. Sometimes when you bake it, it sticks together. So for here, the dressing stayed mixed right now, but if you see that it does kind of separate a little, you just have to give it, another shake or a little bit of a mix with a whisk or the fork. And you could pour it on, but for me, I just like to be careful. And I don't want too much, so I'll just go in with the spoon, make sure I get a little bit of everything. And just pour it over the top. Now for this is all I need on mine. But if you were following an Asian profile, say with sesame oil, maybe a little bit of, soy sauce, sesame oil, brown sugar, ginger, garlic, you can definitely put scallions or sesame seeds. It's really, if you know the flavors you like, you know what to put with it. And again, I really like to stick to the theme of meal prep. So right now you have a super healthy dinner that can be lunch, dinner again. You can kind of put this in lettuce wraps. You can put it, maybe over beans or another type of protein or grain that you like. And you should be set for the week. And hope you enjoy.